Well, good morning from Florida, Orlando. It's not 2 a.m., but it will be. My name is Catherine Daugherty. I'm a student from Grand Canyon University, Professor Gahan Bryan. Course name is Leading as a General Manager. Sorry, Professor, I wish I would look more perky and bubbly, but I'm really, been working hard and it's quite late. But anyway, it's been a pleasure to work with you and our classmates. Um, so anyway, basically, what I'm gonna present is the strategic goal. Um, in my communication plan, I selected Florida Hospital, that soon will be Adventhealth, as the health organization, to develop a strategic plan or actions plan toward a strategic goal. I'll tell you quickly about Florida Hospital. I was founded in 1908. It has over 33,000 employees. It's a not for profit organization with a faith based Christian beliefs from the Adventist Church. So the religion is, and their philosophy, the vision, and the mission is to deliver professional patient care through a compassionate environment. And the approach they use is in a holistic way, meaning that they address the care plan of these patients through targeting the emotions of the patients, to heal them completely, the spirit, the body, and the mind, because we're all these aspects as human beings. So Florida Hospital soon will be Adventhealth starting the next year, and the CEO, Mr. Toll, he created a powerful coalition, and this powerful coalition has business experts within the both the healthcare field and outside the healthcare field, and they call the project a Fulcrum, Project Fulcrum. I researched a little bit about the definition because English is not my native tongue, and fulcrum is a pivot. It's something that pivot in a lever, so it's concerning. Is a pivot or point on which a lever rests or is supported. And I was reading my notes quickly, so that's why the name. And they also have another separate groups of experts from Innovation Exchange. And what Innovation Exchange are doing is that they partnership with other professionals in and without the healthcare field to with the purpose of amplify their performance, to make their mission stronger, because they make alliances, of course. When you partnership with another person that is an expert in another field, you create a more powerful coalition, I should say. So that's the purpose of Innovation Exchange. They gather all these experts with and without the healthcare field, and meanwhile they have another group of experts called Project Fulcrum. What they do is that they are entirely focusing on creating a new health system that will fit better the needs of the patients to have a better care plan. So they are to dismantle the old traditional healthcare system in Florida hospitals, soon Adventhealth, and they're creating this the new one. So that's what Project Fulcrum is doing. They are kind of sort of like Amazon and Google. They have their own experts that they are allowed to do mistakes, and because it's there's gonna be mistakes during a very important process for you to go to the target of what you really want to accomplish, because we're not perfect. So they have these experts allowed to make some mistakes, because what they want to do in the long run is to have a new healthcare system that will target better the needs of the patient, to tailor better their care plan. And in order to do that, they realize that they can no longer keep using their traditional um, healthcare system that they were using. So they are working daily 24/7. They have rotating teams working 24/7 to address that, to create and work on the implementation of this new health care system. That's Project Fulcrum. They don't go to meetings, they're not reading emails, that's too distractive. Their entire focus is what I just mentioned. Innovation Exchange, like I said before, is a partnership of different business experts in and without the healthcare field, with the purpose of amplify their performance. So, that being said, the methods that I will use for my strategic goal, and my strategic goal in this class in particular, leading as a general manager in business administration, emergency management, and disaster preparedness. That's the name, the full title of the main class, is to help to assist Florida Hospital, soon Adventhealth, in remain to their mission and vision statement of extend the healing ministry of Christ in a holistic way, addressing the patient as a whole person. However, in order to do that and remaining doing that during a moment of crisis, what can we do? Because remember that crisis will come, and the best way to manage crisis are to prevent them, build some scenarios of what if this catastrophe will happen. So the strategic goal for me will be to make sure that Florida Hospital will be keeping their vision and mission through moments of a crisis. The methods I'll be using for that will be the business dashboards, balance scorecards, feedbacks from the patients and the patient visitors. I will be using starting a hierarchy. Bear with me because, like I said, English is not my native tongue. But then I will go to a decentralized approach. Why? Because during moments of emergency, regular people can do extraordinary actions. So it's necessary during a moment of crisis to decentralize the power. And there's a chain of command, but when a crisis strikes, and few people you see that they use their common sense better than others, and they have better skills, you have to let them be, because we're working for the greater good of everybody. That being said, another method that I will use, and the one that I will trust the most, is to interview a experts in the matter of crisis, like people that have been dealing with crisis before and they've been managing those crises very effectively. So I will definitely approach them and have private meetings with them to talk about their experience and what kind of skills do they use and knowledge, and how do they approach that crisis. So I'll get to learn from the experts. All right, so I will use all that. I want to add that in order to have experts, professional caregivers in the hospitals, it's important to create a very strong mentorship program. And for that, is the best way is to pair senior employees with new employees. So the senior employees get to train the new employees in hands on the job training, how you can do things the Florida Hospital way, or soon Adventhealth way? What's the culture there? What's the way to do things? Of course, there's rules and regulations and laws, local and national laws, and they have to be in compliance. All employees have to be in compliance, and there's ways to measure that performance. There's a data system that will is targeted to measure the employee's performance. So that can be used, brief and frequent meetings with employees to address any concerns they might still have. Another way is the service, confidential electronically or through paper, regular physical paper to the patients after being discharged or their family members or caregivers, their immediate caregivers. And pretty much that's all I can think right now. I have to memorize this at the top of my head. The one thing I'll say, I submitted the work to Professor Dr. Gahan is that is a blackout will come. It's vital that the hospital they must have a map on the floor and the roof, something simple, nothing overwhelming, but fluorescent that will direct people to know where they go to the nearest exit or designated area, depending on the nature of the natural disaster or man-made disaster. With also flashing red lights in the hospital, silent, of course, but red and flashing, quickly flashing. So that will give the employees the warning sign that it's time to get out of the hospital. Also banners in any electronic device that these healthcare professionals are using, so they will know, because sometimes you're so focused and so tuned in what you're doing, you're not gonna see a light even if it's flashing quickly red, because it's silent, have to be silent. Remember, we're at the hospital environment. But if you manage any electronic device, you will see the red banner saying to leave, indicating the employees to leave as soon as possible. And so mandatory evacuations drills are also being held with some dummies used as patients. So the caregivers will be exiting the hospital with the dummies and the equipment for the drill. And obviously, it's needed more employees, because there are some employees that have to stay with the real patients in the hospital. Remember, we have persons in the intensive care, so not everybody have to leave, can be able to leave the hospital. I'm sorry for the mistakes I did. It's late. I did everything I could. I'm trying to look at the camera, look perky, have sufficient light, look my bedroom look clean and organized the best I could. And this is something I see every morning to remind myself before I go out to work or study. Just to, remember that God is fighting our battles. Well, that's all for now. And I did the best I could, Professor Gahan. It's been a pleasure for me to be your student. And I wish everybody I don't celebrate Christmas. I turned to a Jewish Messianic synagogue, but we just had our Hanukkah. I couldn't celebrate it. I've been studying, working, and do a lot of things. But for the ones that celebrate Christmas, I wish you a mega blessed season and full of more joy, wisdom, discernment of spirits, a lot of wisdom, a lot of health, and a lot of shalom, which is the peace of God. Thank you and have a good night. And I hope you learned something with my video. Bye.